Welcome back to another episode of All Things Everything presented by Gulf Coast Smoke. My name is Alonzo.
And I'm Sabrina.
And this is episode 35, right?
Yep.
So how's everything been? How's your week going so far?
Oh, it's going good. I'm pretty hungry right now, so my voice is a little like phlegmy, so I just downed some Cheez-Its real quick.
There you go. Cheez-Its are always good. Now, I've been seeing recently how many different flavors of Cheez-Its there are now. So,
man.
there's like the white cheddar. I think there's like...
See, I've only tried the regular and the white cheddar.
The white cheddar I think are good. I do think the regular are the best.
Oh, no, didn't we try the pepper jack one time?
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't there a pepper jack one? And those are, I mean, they're all pretty good. But I think now they have like extra crispy, extra crispy, or extra toasty. Like they have all sorts.
Oh, yeah, I've never tried the extra toasty.
But you know what? As I'm kind of thinking about it, the white cheddars are really good.
They are.
I think that... Wait, are you asking or saying?
No, I'm saying they are. I agree, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes they'll have those at work, and at work sometimes they just got snacks galore, which makes it tough. But either way, the white cheddar ones, they are absolutely insane to me. So I actually might like those better than the originals, to be honest.
Well, have you tried Taco Bell has
No.
like a crunch wrap with like a giant Cheez-It? That just sounds like...
I think that's a little too much.
Cheez-It doesn't sound like something you would put in a taco or anything like that.
I mean, I don't know. I think anything cheese related in Taco Bell probably will work. But no, I haven't tried it. No. Have you tried it?
No, Doritos I feel like works well.
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
But something about like a Cheez-It, it's a cracker. I don't feel like it should be.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Mixed in with a Crunch Wrap Supreme.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. But I mean, no, I haven't tried it, and honestly, I probably never will.
Yeah, I probably never will.
I mean, tried and true at Taco Bell, bean burrito, and a cheesy gordita crunch with a Haba Blast is absolutely on another level. It's you can't really go wrong with that order, in my opinion. I mean, just a bean burrito and like, dude, what else do you really need from there?
Yeah, I always go bean burrito, no onions, no red sauce, cheese, sour cream.
Yeah, disgusting on the sour cream. Disgusting on the sour cream, but hey, everybody's different. So I do no onions. Why are we talking about our taco? Sorry, guys, but yeah, no, so I go no onions, extra cheese, extra red sauce, and then Crunch Wrap Supreme, a cheesy gordita crunch with no jalapeno sauce, but then I throw the Diablo in there and the mild, which I really like. But anyway, today we wanted to talk about not our Taco Bell orders, to be honest. We wanted to talk about a few recipes that have come out this week and what's going to be moving forward, what's going to happen next week. Well, I guess, okay, let's talk about this a little bit, right? So this weekend, we have a pretty busy weekend, okay? So Friday, we're going to a barbecue competition, and Saturday, obviously, we'll be competing in that barbecue competition. And first, before we go over our whole weekend, how do you feel about the competition, and are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you anything about this? Because I'll tell you what, so today's Tuesday, we're filming this podcast on a Tuesday, and typically by now, I feel like we're really, I don't want to say like almost done with preparation, but I feel like we're already like pretty prepared. We haven't done one thing yet. And it's just, I think that's just the way things are going for us right now. Like we've talked about before, you're editing a lot more. I've been working a little bit later than normal. We're in a turnaround right now. So we haven't done anything. I haven't trimmed ribs. I haven't trimmed chicken. I haven't even gotten pork. My brisket hasn't come in. So, we'll see. But what do you feel about this competition upcoming? Like, again, are you nervous? Are you excited? What's going on in your head?
Well, normally, we are always excited to compete, but because it's been so long, we've gotten, I feel, comfortable not competing. And that doesn't mean we don't enjoy competing, but it's just, it's been nice having the weekends to do stuff. But that being said, we were watching some of our old competition videos last night because our kids sometimes like to watch them, and so we were watching them, and that got me pretty excited. Seeing the food and, just puts you back into that place of competing, right? And it definitely gets you excited. Now, I feel like recently, as far as like when we were competing regularly this year,
Yeah.
It got to the point where we didn't need much prep.
Yeah.
Going into the competition, whereas last year it definitely took like that full week's worth of prep getting into the competition. But since it's been so long since we've competed, it feels like it's definitely like, man, are we like I don't even remember like
do we have
what
trays
to start with, right?
I mean, I was thinking about it just a few minutes ago. I mean, do we have pans? Do we have foil? Do we have trays? Do we have gloves? Do we have the sauces that we need? Do we have all the injections that we need? At this point, we're pretty much not going to be able to get, if we don't have some injections, we're not going to be able to get them.
Right.
Because it's already too late in the week. Unless I ordered today, probably would get them Thursday. To be honest, yeah. We could. I guess we should look afterwards.
Yeah.
Because we'll need to make an order tonight if we need to. But there's that. And then any sauces that we need. We're just not really, now even like our finishing sauces, our finishing powders, like we need to remake all of those. It's been over a month since we've competed. And it's weird because that's really not that long. But at the same time, it's been long enough to where I'm like, dude, I don't even know like how I want to cook the ribs, how I want to cook the chicken, how I want to do the brisket. We still have to clean the drums.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty to do from now until Friday.
Well, when you're competing almost every weekend, you're building that momentum
for the next weekend.
Right. So, you already have it in your mind what you need, what you want to do, all of those things. So when you get into a different mindset of like we're being home every weekend, it definitely stops that momentum. And then you got to kind of step back and rethink like, okay, what's our normal process of what we do? And I think once we get into the competition and start doing things, it's going to come naturally. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the prep, you definitely start forgetting like, okay, and this is where lists come in handy.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have your list so that way you remember like, okay, what utensils do I actually need?
Yeah.
What equipment do I actually need? What ingredients do we actually need?
Sure. Yeah, no, for sure. I think you're right. I mean, honestly, I'm more excited about seeing friends than I am truly about anything else. Just because we talked about it the other day, it is so hot right now. Yeah. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not looking forward to being out there and just cooking in the hot sun all day long. At our house, if we're cooking and we're filming, we have shade in the backyard. We have the option to come inside and get cool air for quite a long time, which obviously we have the trailer that has the AC, but it's just different. So there's a lot that goes into competing in the heat. Like when I tell you that I'm already trying to hydrate for this weekend, I mean it. At work, I've been doing water only, trying to get really, really hydrated. That way, when we do go out there and Saturday when we wake up and we're outside all day, I'm not going to be dehydrated. I'm going to be using the restroom a lot, and it hopefully just puts us into a better position. That's the one thing that I'll say. I know it sounds so crazy. If you take competition barbecue seriously, like you can think about those things ahead of time. Now I understand everyone goes out there, has fun, wants to drink beer, whatever, and that's completely fine. But I mean, I really do think about those things because I'm 34 now, I'm getting older, and I think I do need to think about those things. So it's just something that, I do. But again, we do have plenty to do, and we haven't even started. So
yeah, honestly, I forgot all about trimming our meats.
Yeah, trimming. I mean, you don't have to do anything there, which is cool. And the drums is going to be the biggest one. We absolutely need to clean them out, like a full clean, big time clean. And yeah, that one's going to be the most annoying thing of the whole process, to be honest. And then just seeing, hey, what do we need? And we can go to Sam's. I mean, even if we leave a little bit later on Friday than we want to, not a huge deal because the competition's not too far. But, again, it just all is what it is.
So what do you think about our preparation going into this competition? Well, not necessarily our preparation, but our cook. What are your plans for the cook? Because we did kind of watch our video from Kingsville last year. Mm-hmm. Are there some things you want to do differently with our proteins?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do well in Kingsville last year, so I'm not to be like smart aleck about it, right? But I'm not going to do anything the same.
Right.
I'm just going to do what we did at the last competition. Again, I'm going to try not to overthink this. And again, I know it sounds so cliche, but we're going to cook barbecue, right? It's not a big deal at all whatsoever. So my goal is to go over there, cook some good barbecue, turn it in, see what happens. And I think that a lot of the times we're fortunate that we're able to do that and just live with the results beyond that. I really think that especially with the way that our chicken tasted last time, if it comes anywhere near, I think we're going to be in a good spot. And then if everything else comes the way it normally does, I think again we're in a decent spot. And we have some things that we're going to do on our brisket. We talked about it yesterday, and we look forward to being out there and competing. And I think one of the biggest things is we're going to try our best. And this is kind of why I brought this up, right? Because next week, I don't know, how are you going to release the videos? Well, before you say that, so let me kind of just finish. We're going to try our best here to show as much, just because we are going to continue doing competition videos, obviously. But since they're not going to be as often, we're going to try and put more into them. So if there's anything specific you guys want to see, like if you want, again, to see us go into detail on why we're injecting this way, and I planned on doing that anyway, but just let us know. And that's also going to take you quite a bit longer to edit. So I would assume you're probably going to do that video on like either Wednesday or the Wednesday after or what. But also it's going to be hard because we're going to be competing Saturday, come home Saturday night, and then Sunday's our anniversary. So we really don't have the opportunity. I mean, even thinking about it right now, like what's going to be queued up for Monday?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be ready for Monday.
Yeah.
If anything, it could maybe be ready for Wednesday. If
But
not, it
probably
would be
not,
the Monday
right?
after. Right. So, but here's the thing now, is we still need
A video for Monday.
Right.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough.
We're going to have to find some time in between now and then to film
a
something
video.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? That's the way our schedule has been lately. And it's been hard, but it's been fun. And, I was actually kind of thinking about this, right? And this is obviously probably not the best place to bring up the conversation, but I was actually thinking about it. What if we could find somebody to, like, create shorts for us from our long-form videos? Like go on, like, Upwork or something like that and pay somebody to do that. I think that'd be an interesting thing to think about because the short-form videos, which we're still supposed to be doing and we're not, if somebody could do those for us, like in the background, from our long form videos, that'd be epic.
The thing that's hard though is that the shots might not work. And now like I said, we do have the footage in short form orientation. It's just we don't, we just haven't really had a chance to really work on it. Because I mean, I do know that short form doesn't take as long to edit as long form content, but it still takes just as much like thought going into it.
For sure.
Like how do I want to
I don't think
start this? How do I want to end it?
At one point I thought it was easier. I do not think it's easier.
No.
I think it's just it like you said, it takes you still have to tell a story, but it's just got to be a quick one.
Right.
You still have to show all the sexy money shots, but you just got to do it a little bit quicker. But there has to be flow to your video. Looking back at our shorts, in all honesty, they're really not good. They're just not. And I'm not dogging on us, but I just don't think they're good, right? So there's a lot that we could do to get better there for sure. And I think that, again, we'll continue to try our best to get to the point where we can make short form videos. I've thought about it even as of yesterday. It's like, man, I know we're doing 2 videos a week and I hate changing our schedule, but like, should we back off to 1 again and really focus on shorts on that second day? Because we are dedicating time now to filming multiple days a week. But it's like, man, I don't know what the answer is. And I don't think there is an answer necessarily, right? But the fact is, I do think we need to find some way to get short form content out there. Like, just even, I don't know, even if someone was with a cell phone camera right behind us, right, and just filming us podcasting, that's a short little reel, just a day in the life type thing or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much to it, right? I don't really know if there is an answer. I think we have to find our answer. And I think our answer is just film long form videos. you know.
Well, and I think that's the one downside to trying to get your short form content from your long form content. Because I feel like in the past when we've done really well on shorts, it's because we specifically filmed for a short.
For sure.
Everything that we filmed was to make that short, not a long form video. And for me, I'm very comfortable with long form content.
Yeah.
You know, so even though, I mean, yeah, editing is editing, but it's not.
It's different.
Right. The goal and the outcomes are different when it comes to short form and long form content. So it's definitely like my Achilles heel, right?
For sure. No, I mean I think we've kind of talked about this maybe even on here. Like it's supposed to be me editing those, but the thing is we haven't even shot any to edit. You know what I mean? Like I know we have footage that can be turned into it. But the thing with that also is it is so hard to take those small little clips and then get the long form clips and get the audio you need from those and do all that. Like there's just a lot to it. That's why I agree with you. If we were to sit there and say, okay, we're going to film with this phone and this is for long form right here. That's it. I mean, short form, my bad. And that makes it so much easier because then we know, okay, this is a short form video and that's it. I mean, even if we could if we could do 2 a week, that'd be insanely amazing. But again, there's so much to it though, right? It's like, number one, you have to dedicate the time, which, okay, it's Tuesday at 6:53. The girls had dance class. You came home. We literally started podcasting pretty much right away. After this, we'll be done in an hour-ish. I mean, we don't have time to film a short form video. So it's already Monday, now Tuesday. Wednesday, tomorrow, we are going to plan to do some personal stuff. We want to go to the golf course. We haven't been golfing as much as we want. And I think it's important that we do take the time to do some stuff we want for sure, right? So getting out to the golf course is going to be important and good for us to just forget about everything for a little bit, breathe in some fresh air, be outside. I'm looking forward to walking the golf course. And yeah. So we're not going to be able to do anything tomorrow. Thursday, another day that we dedicate pretty much exclusively to going to mom and dad's. We always do that. It's just kind of like turned into what we do.
Well, this week we're probably going to be spending a lot of Thursday prepping for the competition.
Yeah. And then Friday, we'll go to the competition with Dad, thankfully. Dad's going to be able to go with us. And yeah, I look forward to it. But no, I mean, all of it is not a struggle, but it's just trying to balance things as best we can. And I think the big thing is going to be on the weekends that and I do think that things are going to get a lot better soon because I'm going to start having my 4-day weekend, then my 3-day weekend, because we did end up going with hiring somebody. So I think they'll start in a few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks. And then things are just going to get a lot better because I'll only have 1 2-day weekend every month. Right, so we'll have the longer weekends in there, and those are going to make it easier to film. Like that extra day, believe it or not, makes such a huge difference. We can film 2 shorts on that day, and I really just think it's going to be a lot better now that we're going to have somebody else there, and then that also gives us the freedom to where, hey, I can compete on one of these 2 open weekends now. It doesn't have to be on just every other weekend. So we'll have 2 out of the 3 weekends where we can compete, which is the schedule we were on before. So things should be looking up. We're just taking it a day at a time, trying our absolute best. You know how it's been, dude. These past couple of weeks for me have not been good. I've been really frustrated, and I just feel like nothing's going my way, if I'm being honest. You know how, I've talked to you personally about it, and I hate being like that Debbie Downer type of person. Like, man, nothing's going my way, but man, it just doesn't feel, nothing feels good right now. Like that pit you have in your stomach, right? Like I've had that for like 2 weeks straight, and it's just, I'm looking forward to some sort of end to that. And I honestly think, and I'm not just saying this, I honestly think getting that third person at work is really going to help that relief, because number one, we're going to have extra help at work. And then number two, it won't be 4-day weekend, 2-day weekend. It'll still feel like you get a couple longer weekends throughout the month. So really looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to Kingsville this weekend where we're going to go compete. I think that we are going to have fun, and that's all I'm really looking for. Honestly, my goal is to turn everything in on time. End of story. Turn everything in on time, because we're going to have to go back and look at notes, and we're going to have to see, hey, when did we start glazing this? When did we start glazing that? When did we do this? How did we do that? Because honestly, off the top of my head, I really don't remember. We have it all in our notes, but I really don't remember. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but it's going to be a fun struggle. And again, we look forward to bringing that content to you guys.
Well, I think that's the benefit of what we do, right? We record basically our competitions. We're recording what we do. And even though our videos don't include absolutely everything that we did, we know what we did. So even if you forget a little bit, you go and watch that and it jogs your memory.
For sure.
And then you remember, okay, well, I remember this time we did this time we did that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's going to be good prep for us to go back and watch Jordanton, however it's pronounced.
Yeah.
To go watch, our past 3 or 4 competitions.
Yeah.
And that'll really help us remember what we've been doing and get us into that zone. Because we had, our recipes really haven't changed much, but our techniques have, and we did talk about this several podcasts ago, but our techniques have evolved. So it's going to be a big part of what we do in Kingsville is remembering what those techniques are and how we're doing them.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to be fine. I mean, I'm not nervous. It's just, I'm excited to go. It's going to be fun. Now, do you have any expectations?
I mean, definitely to do better than what we did
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good goal. I really think that's a really good goal. I'm not expecting to. Do I think we have the capability to go win? For sure. I'm not expecting to do it because, again, I think we're going to be a little bit rusty. I think there's going to be some things where we're like, man, we forgot to do that at this time, or we're just going to be a little bit off the game, and I expect that. So, I really, my goal. This is my goal, is to just keep it together, not get too flustered. But we both know that I do tend to do that. So I'll do my best to not get frustrated over what happens at the contest. And it's one of those things, like when I used to golf a lot and I was playing really good golf, and then I would take 4, 5, 6 months, whatever off, and then I would go back and think that I was going to play exactly the same way I did the last time I played when maybe I shot 72, right? Like, well, that's not really possible. You haven't touched a stick in 6 months. So it's the same thing with barbecue, or I would assume it's the same thing with barbecue. We've never really taken a break like this long. But I mean, it's just, we're going to remember a lot of things that we did good. Maybe, unfortunately, some of the things that we were doing bad, and kind of mix those up a little bit. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. My goal, again, is to turn everything in on time. I would love one walk, and I would think it's a pretty successful event. And I'm being sincerely genuine with that, because some of these guys have still been competing a lot and cooking really well, and there's a lot of great cooks out there, and we're going to be going up against them. So we'll see how we do.
What's interesting is I feel like a lot of cooks this year have been venturing out of state to go do cooks over the summer.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. I think that might be a goal for next year, because I mean I feel like the last summer we were competing constantly, and it was really hot. It was brutal.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So I think this year we've seen a lot of cooks go out of state, which I think would be really, really cool to try and aim to do next year.
No doubt. I mean, I've thought about it. I mean, obviously, with the day job, it makes it tough. But I do think, once we reach that level and we can do this full time, most definitely we can take off and spend a week somewhere, or even 2 weeks somewhere. And it could be a really fun time with you and the kids, for sure.
What area do you think you would want to go compete in? I don't really know who else does competition, but I mean.
No, I don't really. I mean, I guess I don't really have
like a destination.
No, I don't have like a destination or anything. I mean, I think we would need to look at the KCBS website and see where they're having events and kind of just chase those. I think, where was Phil recently?
Him and Bill were in Australia, I thought.
Well, no, they're in Australia now, but like before that, they were somewhere. Phil was with his family for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Something like Utah or Colorado.
That's what I'm saying.
One
like
of those places.
Those would be beautiful places to go. Like
right.
Colorado would be cool to cool to have a competition in Colorado. I do think it'd be cool. Well, I don't even know how long your family's going to be in California, but like to go find a competition in California near where your parents are at, I think that'd be really cool too.
Well, it's interesting in that area too because they don't really carry briskets.
Well, I mean, we could just order them from Snake.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it. Like, imagine.
Oh, you're saying like you don't know how the
judges.
people are gonna.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean.
Which I'm sure they've had brisket, right? But it's not something that people eat on a regular basis unless you have like a specific barbecue restaurant there that's able to get their hands on brisket. But like most of the time, if you go to a grocery store, you're not going to find briskets. The closest thing that like people make out there is like tri-tip.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess we would see, but I do think that'd be a cool location to go to for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I mean, a goal for next year, something cool for us to do as a family, and we'll see how it happens. But we also did want to talk about some of the recipes that we put out this week. So we talked about our weekend, what's going to be happening, but man, this past week we did have a few recipes that dropped. So, well, one was a recipe and one is a tutorial video. How would you say it?
Yeah,
a
like
teaching video. I don't know. Educational.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. So our first video was a Mexican hot dog. So talk about that a little bit. I mean, number one, how do you think the video went? And number two, how did you enjoy the food?
So first of all, I've never heard of a Mexican hot dog. I didn't know that was a thing. Is that something that that you or your family had ever had?
No, never had that. So my buddy Jesse, he reached out to me. He's like, dude, I have something I want you to try. And he said, when I was younger, my mom would do hot dogs and she would put pico de gallo on them and then just call it like a Mexican hot dog. So then his wife, Megan, said, you know what? I'm going to bump it up a notch and I'm going to bacon wrap them. So they did bacon wrapped with pico de gallo on top. So then he was like, I'm curious to see what your take is on it. So we had talked about it. And originally, our plan was actually to do something kind of like a chalupa. A little bit. Remember? We had talked about it. So originally we were going to do a bacon wrapped hot dog with refried beans on top. And on top of that, we were going to put ground beef seasoned like a taco. And then we were going to do pico de gallo, cheese, and then we're going to do some sour cream. So that was our original plan. And then I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know about the beans on the hot dog and the bacon. I just wasn't too sure. So I said, okay, let's try it this way. So how did we end up making it, just for anybody that hasn't seen the video? And again, what were your thoughts on it, and what was your thoughts on the video?
Yeah, so we started with those Nathan's Colossal hot dogs, which, I mean, as you mentioned, Nathan's hot dogs are really, really good.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, and then so wrap that in bacon, just cook those indirect until the bacon pretty much crisped up. And then we, on the bottom of the buns, we used some of that mayonnaise that had tahini in it. It was like a chili lime mayonnaise or something like that.
Yeah, it had limon and tahini in it, and it was just so good. I thought the flavor of it really, you could taste that flavor really well. Yeah,
and I'm not a big fan of tahini, but when you mix it in with the mayo, it complements the overall dish that you're going for, right? It's supposed to be a Mexican hot dog, so it brings those flavors. And the avocado I thought was really nice. It added like a creaminess, cool element, and then the pico de gallo adds like that freshness, that crispness,
a little bit of. I feel like it's tart, a little tart,
a little sour.
Yeah, but it has it just everything came together so perfectly.
Yeah, I thought, and honestly, I feel like hot dogs are like. If you were to break foods down into tiers, right? I feel like that's one of those like bottom tier foods that like you just eat it because it's cheap and easy to have for a lot of people, right? Like it's not really something you would go out of your way to go find. Oh, I really need a hot dog. I want to eat a hot dog. But that hot dog was something that like I would eat it every single week. It was so good. It definitely tasted more like a gourmet hot dog, especially when you start with those brioche buns. You know, when you level up those buns instead of like the regular white buns from the grocery store, the brioche takes it to another level.
For sure. And real quick on those buns, if you guys have H-E-Bs, we didn't get over from H-E-B. If you guys have Walmarts, which most of you should, if you go to their actual bakery aisle, that's where we got those brioche buns, and they're split tops.
Yeah.
So they're just split on the top. You can fold them open. You can grill them if you want, whatever. They really, truly do taste so, so good. I just wanted to throw that in there real fast.
Yeah, and I thought that was vital in making a video on this, because if you try to do just the regular hot dog buns that open like that, and then you try and lay it down, it just all would have collapsed. So those split top buns were, I think, really, really good for that large of a hot dog.
For sure.
And I mean, yeah, I think a regular size hot dog will be just fine, but something about the colossal hot dogs, I think were,
yeah, I mean,
it was the meat to other topping ratio was really, really good.
Yeah, and I think also it is an over the top hot dog, right? Like obviously we talked about, right? If you're making if we go make hot dogs for dinner right now, what are we going to put on them? Mustard, ketchup, maybe chili, maybe cheese, and that's really it. And most of the time it's a canned chili and it's shredded cheese. It comes out of a bag. This was really gourmet. You know, to take the bacon and wrap it, number one, that elevates the hot dog already. And then to put pretty high quality ingredients on top, it really truly does just make it completely different. So it's an over the top hot dog for sure, right? There's nothing about it that's basic. And some might say it's like a little bit too much, but I'm here to tell you, I don't really like stunt food, which is, you know, they call stunt food like this stuff that's covered in nacho cheese or drenching in hot sauce. But this is not stunt. It was so good. The reaction was genuine. Sabrina couldn't even put it on camera. I started like cussing. I was like, holy, you know what? This is so flipping good. Like I was tripping out. I didn't necessarily know if I was going to love it. And you never really know when you make a recipe, but it truly was that good if you guys have the time. And it really didn't even take that long. It took like 30 minutes to make the dogs. You're just waiting for the bacon to render and get nice and crispy. But man, that was just so, so good.
Yeah, I mean, the most extensive part of that whole recipe was just cooking the hot dogs,
yeah.
which took zero effort. I mean,
Zero.
All you do was wrap them in bacon, and then you let them sit there until they cook. Like that.
For
That's
sure.
all the work you did. If you want to use store-bought pico, I mean, that's fine too.
And even somebody in the comments was saying, take off the, what did they say?
Take off the avocado and the mayonnaise or something. Yeah.
And it's perfect. And that's a great point. Do it however you want to do it. If you don't like pico de gallo, that's fine. If you want to add
just like Jess said, she usually
tomatoes.
Yeah, she'll just like use sliced tomatoes.
Yeah, if you want to do that, do that. If you want to pop out the avocado, do it. Whatever is going to make this hot dog enjoyable for you, absolutely 100% do it. I love to see people try these things and make it your own for sure.
Yeah, and and the pico as well. Even if you're not using it for this recipe, I mean, I think it's a good pico recipe for absolutely anything, and it's really easy to make. I mean, the goal is to just dice your ingredients all the same size.
Yeah.
And then you just mix it together. Taste
it
to make sure the ingredients, taste the way you want it to taste.
For sure. It's really, really simple, and it's really, really delicious. Dude, just a good pico and some corn chips. Insane.
Yeah.
So, again, it was a really good recipe. The video, I thought, came out amazing. We had the bloopers in the end, which I do think people really liked. So that's another thing. If we have those bloopers, I definitely think they should go in the videos. That could be like our thing, maybe. I don't know. But either way, I do think people really enjoyed them. And it is funny because genuinely, when we were filming that video, like you said, I think you commented it, we were laughing so much because my sisters were all there. And my nephews are all there, and they're in the pool, which is literally 3 feet from where we're standing for that video. And we're like, hey, guys, we're about to film. Like, everybody, shh, don't stop talking, but just, calm down for a second. So then everyone's like, they pull up to the edge of the pool, and they're, like, looking. They have their arms on the concrete. They're looking at what we're doing. And it just is a fun environment. And then to be there with my sisters, and Kimberly is telling me, more salt, more salt, more salt. And you don't really see it in the video, but I'm literally, like, pouring salt, and I'm just staring at her, and she's just like, she's just looking at me like, okay, there. But like, I'm like, oh my gosh. But so if I had to give you an honest, I mean, I probably put like, 3 tablespoons of salt in there. You don't think so?
No, because you started out with a tablespoon of salt, but it was a sprinkle, and that's why she was like, that wasn't a tablespoon. Like, keep going. You know?
I don't. I definitely think we put a lot of salt in there.
Nah, I don't think so at all.
Well, how much?
When you're shaking it, it seems like you're covering the whole bowl, like the surface area of the bowl. But you think about a tablespoon. I mean, that's like a ball of salt.
Yeah, but I mean, I threw it. I don't know. Okay, maybe 2 tablespoons.
It's one of those things that you can't really go based off of an exact number. It really is by taste that you're going to get the best results for something like that.
For sure. No, I agree. And that's pretty much what I was getting to, is that you just have to keep putting salt in there and taste it continuously. And we did. We continuously tasted until we got it right, for sure.
Yeah. And as like you mentioned, I had a lot of fun editing this video. And here's the thing with like the outtakes, right? Like we've never been in the backyard like, oh, we got to get something funny, you know?
It's got to be genuine.
It's just we put it in if it actually just happens, right? And man, yeah, we were cracking up. I mean, you can only imagine, dude, the types of jokes that were going on with these colossal dogs.
So no, I was yeah, we won't get into that. But it was really funny, and it honestly was a nice time, like with my family and my sisters and everything. Now, the thing is, so like I had the jalapeno that fell out, and I was trying to put it in my mouth, and it hit the spoon, and it got all over me. We were just like, you and Kimberly were cracking up, and I was just like,
I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Yeah, so I mean, I knew what happened, obviously, but it was just a great video and a great time. So if you guys have not watched that video, definitely go back on our channel. It was dropped on Monday, and I really think you're going to enjoy it. Obviously, I hope that you enjoy every video, but I truly think you're going to enjoy it. Stick around till the end, and you'll see those outtakes that we're talking about. And to me, they're hilarious. I was cracking up watching them. So that was the first video of the week. And the second video was...
we did, as you said, like an educational video on the 3 zones on the Weber kettle. Now, most people are used to cooking 2 zones, and you mentioned this in the video. We had somebody comment and say, you know, I cook with a raised rack, and I consider this to be a 3rd zone. Mm-hmm. And cooking on a raised rack is something we do quite often, especially cooking on a kettle. So, it really got us thinking like, yeah, this probably is a 3rd zone. And during this video, as we were cooking and we were seeing how we did country style pork ribs.
Sure.
So to see how these pork ribs progressed during the cook.
And differed.
Yeah, it really shows you that, these are 3 zones, and you're going to get 3 different outcomes based on them.
Yeah.
So the first zone, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so the first zone is direct. So anytime that you and I are cooking on the kettle, well, I guess not really any time, but most of the time, I would say 90% of the time that you and I are cooking on the kettle, we have 2 zones, right? One of them is direct, and one of them is indirect. So direct literally just means the coals are right on that side. They're right below your cooking grate. Indirect just means that there's no coals under that cooking grate. So you have your hot zone, and you have what I call a safe zone. So the reason that we have these 2 zones is because, let's just say, for example, we're grilling chicken wings. Chicken wings flare up. Bacon wrapped poppers, they flare up really, really easily. Well, you can put them on that side, and you actually can get a nice grill on them. And if they start to flare up, you grab them with your tongs, or you spin your grate or whatever, and you go to the safe zone. And it's going to stop flaring up, because now you're hitting no coals. All those drippings are hitting no coals, right? So you have your hot zone, you have your cool zone, or you have your hot zone and your safe zone. Whichever way you really want to look at it. So that's zone 1 is the direct. Zone 2 is obviously the indirect. And then zone 3, which we were having a little bit of issue coming up with the name for it, we landed on the barbecue zone. So the reason we called it the barbecue zone is because it is above the direct zone. And that's probably around, 6 inches above the cooking grate?
Yeah.
But from the actual coals themselves, maybe 9 inches. Mm-hmm. So let's just say you have about 9 inches from the hot coals to that now raised rack, and you're in your barbecue zone. So the reason we call it the barbecue zone is because you're not direct anymore. You're a little bit above them coals, and you're also not indirect. But the beautiful thing about it is, again, if you run into anything where, hey, this is getting too hot, you can put it indirect if you want. Or, man, I think I want a little char on these. I think I love the color, but let's get a little more char on these. Throw them on that direct zone, then put them on your indirect zone, or throw them direct, and then put them right back on your barbecue zone. So we found that through this cook, so we've done, like you said, we have done this a lot. If you go back and look at our channel, man, we've used that little raised rack that we have quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually even used it at a barbecue competition before. I was thinking about it. In the Wharton competition, we used them for our chickens. So if you go back and look at that video, we used them last year, over a year ago, for competition chicken. But either way, we found that every single zone not only cooks differently when it's talking about the texture on the outside of your food, it 100% made a difference on the texture of our food, right? So our indirect zone, well, I guess we shouldn't go into too much details, right? Because go and watch the video and you'll see it. But I will say that it 100% made a difference. The indirect zone, direct zone, and the barbecue zone all had different textures. They were all cooked to the same internal temperature, but they had different textures. And it was really, really cool to see. We've done it so many times, but we've never actually tested it like this, to where we wanted to show you guys, hey, these are the 3 zones. These are what you can do with them. And it was really, really cool to see. Now, when it comes to maybe the thumbnail or the video, you're going to see big time physical differences between these 3 pieces of pork that we cooked. But hopefully you guys can see it in the way that I bite it. So I took a bite of the direct zone cooked pork first, and I think there was a definite difference from that and the indirect zone that you could see when I bit it. I'm not going to say which one was better or worse. You guys can watch it, but I felt like there was a definite difference there. And it was just really interesting to see.
Yeah, and you did mention this in the video, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But that barbecue zone, it does seem almost like a drum, like if you had a 30-gallon drum, because, you know, that raised rack is above those coals, so you're getting those drippings hitting the coals, and causing some flare-ups. So it's not getting as much of the flame as it would if it was direct,
For sure.
that 3 inches above the coals.
Mm-hmm.
But because it is raised, you're just getting a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So it is almost like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're cooking, it's not going to be the right way to cook for all proteins or for anything that you're making.
Like
but
something that's leaner that doesn't have too much fat is probably not going to create that same effect.
Right.
Or a steak, you might want that a little bit closer to the coals just to get that nice char on it. But
because it is going to get a little bit of smoke, kind of like that indirect, but it's also getting some direct heat. It's hotter right there in that area.
Yeah.
So each has its purpose that's going to fit right for different foods.
Yeah, no doubt. And also another thing that I don't think I mentioned in the video, but I'll talk about now, is don't underestimate how hot that zone gets. Right. Because what you're doing, more than likely, is you have that vent, that top vent, over your food. Right? So your heat starts at the bottom with those coals, right? But it all releases where? Out those vents, out the top vent. So you're hot down there on the grate itself, but it's also very hot where that heat's releasing. That raised rack puts that food right up there near that vent. So there's a lot of heat that's actually coming out of those top vents that's hitting that food.
Right.
So it's actually a lot hotter than you might think because all that heat is being released out of those top vents. It's the same thing like with an offset, okay? A lot of offsets are actually not as hot right next to the firebox, whereas they are on the other side next to their smoke collector and their stack, because all that heat is now going to one spot and it's trying to release out the stack.
Right.
So think about it like that.
Yeah, and you don't want to put the vent over the indirect side if you're cooking on the direct, because you do want that smoke to roll over your food so that you do get that flavor. So it wouldn't really make sense to do that. So yeah, depending on which zone you're cooking on, that's usually where you're going to have your vent so that the smoke is rolling over the food and out of the kettle. So yeah, that's definitely a really good point. Yeah,
it's just going to be hotter than you think. I'm not saying it's going to be 700 degrees, but it's not going to be 300. You know, it's probably going to be closer to 400, 375, whatever. One of these days we'll get a great temp on that zone and just kind of see where it's at, just so we can know and maybe we can share that information.
Yeah, even though you're going to get some of that smoke flavor on that barbecue zone, it's not a low and slow zone.
No, it's
by
not.
Any means.
It's not. It's definitely not. That's a great point. So be ready for sure. We've done bacon wrapped pickles on that zone before, And believe it or not, we actually burnt some of the bacon. So it can still cause major flare-ups. But again, I think that for certain things, it works very, very, very well. So
so we filmed these 2 videos on the same day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up putting some hot dogs on that barbecue zone while the bacon wrapped ones were cooking indirect, and yes, a couple of them actually burned.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not as cool as you think, and that's why I wanted to bring that up for everybody, because don't think that you're just going to be able to walk away from it for a very, very long time. It's still hot, and it's still a barbecue pit. Well, it's a grill, but it's going to do what it does. So, yeah, but go ahead and check out that video as well. We definitely thought that it was a really good one, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys have anything else, again, as always, we tell you guys, if you have anything else that you want to see from us, most definitely reach out and let us know. Recently, I've actually been getting some messages from people letting us know, hey, love watching your competition videos, asking questions about ribs or any other proteins. And man, I love, love, love hearing from you guys. So anytime, absolutely reach out to me on our Instagram or our Facebook or whatever, and I'm glad to talk about barbecue. So thank you guys that have been watching our content and reach out and ask questions about it, because it gives us that affirmation that we're doing something right and you guys are enjoying it. So we really appreciate all of you guys. So one of the things that we also wanted to do before we left today was talk a little bit about some of our newer retailers. So I don't know when the last time we talked about this was, but it's been a while. So I did want to just talk about a few people. If I've already talked about them, even better, we can talk about them again. So Papa Joe's Barbecue Pro Shop in Red Oak, Texas. Cattleman's Beef in Sabinal, Texas. Triple S Seasonings and Barbecue Supply in Hitchcock, Texas. Champ's Meat Market in Corpus Christi, Texas, and in Robstown, Texas. Southern Soul in Dickinson, Texas. Texas Barbecue Emporium in League City, Texas. Big Bear Barbecue Supplies in New York, which is amazing.
Yeah,
thank you so much. We're grateful for everybody, but it is really cool for us to be able to be in Depew, New York. Big Bear Barbecue Supplies. If anybody out there has any interest in also carrying our seasonings, reach out to us and let us know. We'll be glad to send you some information, and hopefully we can make something happen. And then also Lakey Mercantile in Lakey, Texas. They're also carrying our seasonings. That's not to forget about Tuttle's, Tri-County, Boari, Chopping Block, Barbecue Store, Baylor Backyard, Ray's Supermarket, South Texas Outdoor Kitchens, Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop, Rockin' A Grill and Supplies, TMG Pits, Kickstart Travel Services,
Beef and Bones.
Yep, and Beef and Bones. That was the last one. So, either way, we appreciate all of the guys that are out there carrying our seasonings in their stores. Again, if you guys want to carry them, let us know. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about today before we hang it up?
No, I think that's it. We're definitely going to use the rest of our time this week wisely as possible to go finish prepping, which if you're listening to this on Friday, we're possibly on our way to Kingsville.
For sure.
So it's a short drive for us. But, we're really hoping to get some good content for you guys and definitely make it a more detail-oriented video. We started with a lot of detail back in the past, but because we were competing so much, it had become real B-roll heavy. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely excited, especially for a 4-meat cook. It is a 4-meat.
It is.
Yeah. So we're definitely excited to go out there and film again.
Absolutely.
And for our possibly our last cook on drums.
Oh, yeah. That is another thing to think about. So this is it should be, right?
Yeah.
This should be our last cook on drums. And we're going to swap to an Outlaw Smoker. And we're super excited about getting that Outlaw Smoker. I can't wait to see it. And, it's just going to be a fun transition. It might be a difficult one or whatever, I don't know. But it's just going to be a really fun transition. And I can't wait. I'm really excited to get that Outlaw. And like I've told you guys before, if anyone is looking for a drum, go get a Race Crew. They are absolutely incredible. We won our first GC on Race Cruise. We won our second GC on Race Cruise. We got our third GC on Race Cruise. Just amazing, amazing drums. I have nothing but good things to say about them. This has nothing to do with us not liking those anymore. It's just, I don't know. You know how we are. Yeah. Like I went through stages in my life where I would like switch up the way my room looked every 3 weeks because I couldn't deal with it. It's little things, but we're grateful that we're able to make this change for sure. Shout out to Outlaw Barbecue Smokers. I cannot wait to get my hands on this piece of equipment and show you guys all about this brand new offset that we're going to be getting. And, sad about having to get rid of the TMG, but we just we won't have the room for it anymore. If you guys ever want to get a badass barbecue pit, call TMG Pits, Knoxville, Tennessee. They make nothing but quality pits. Mm-hmm. And again, I have nothing bad to say about either of them. This has nothing to do with, oh, this one stopped working or this one wasn't good. I'm telling you, like, I'm being dead serious. There was a time, and I know you remember this, where I would literally come home from work or something, and I would just unplug my computer, move my desk to another, start moving my tables around and moving the TV. just ready for a little change. That's it.
Yeah.
But either way, we're excited about our last cook on drums. This is our last cook on drums.
If you're a drum cooker and you still like our content and you're looking for that information, definitely go back in our videos.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos.
There's still a lot of good information out there.
No doubt. 100%. 100%. I don't think that that's going to change anything from the past videos that we put out. We put our heart and soul into all of those and all those competitions. You're still going to be able to get a lot of information from it. And one of the advantages is we have been one of the teams that has done both. And hopefully we do both at a successful rate. So hopefully we'll have good information on both of these things. And if we have any techniques that we end up changing or adding because now we're on an offset, and we'll definitely 100% let you know. So either way, exciting things on the horizon for us. We have a busy week ahead. Got to figure out some content for Monday. And did I mention already it's our anniversary?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you did on the last podcast as well, but I think, you did mention that.
Yeah, so the 21st, which is Sunday, it'll be our anniversary 13 years, right?
Yes.
13 years.
13 years together.
13 years together and 7 years married. Yep, 13 years together and 7 years married. So we're gonna actually be able to, believe it or not, everybody, we're gonna be able to spend some time together alone for a little bit. We're gonna go watch a movie.
Which movie theater did you decide on?
Oh, we're going to Alamo 100%.
Okay, I was about to say, that other one we went to was nice, but I need a pretzel.
No, for sure. We're going to Alamo 100%.
Yeah.
So I haven't even gotten the tickets, which I probably need to do. But we'll get those later. So, yeah, we're going to go watch Twisters. Don't ask me why. It just gives us an opportunity to go get a Alamo Draft House pretzel, which we love those pretzels. So that's honestly, like, I'm not exaggerating. That's literally why we're going to go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Which, I'm sure we're going to watch the movie, but.
And I'm starving right now, too. So I'm like, man, I'm going to get the buffalo cauliflower tots and the loaded fries. And
get it all. Get it all.
I won't eat it all.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's going to be about, what, like $800 right there? But, all right. We're going to let you guys go. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us every single Friday at 7:30 a.m. If you guys don't know. Every single Friday, 7:30 a.m., you're going to get a podcast from us. You can watch it on YouTube if you're watching right now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can listen on Apple, Spotify.
Yeah, a little bit earlier, too, if you're listening and not watching.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does come out, what is it, like 5:30 a.m. or something? 5 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you're just listening, you can listen to it at 5 a.m. But
before everybody else.
Yeah, before everybody else. But anyway, we appreciate you guys listening and watching. And we'll see you guys on the NEP. The NEP? The NEP Exapode. Anyway. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.